Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA business media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better. On behalf of the whole MIKEKINGBIZ ecosystem, we say a big thank you.
MIKEKINGBIZ, on the mic with Mike, Richmond's premier business radio platform.
Make it move. Judge how you judges say we going corporate. Nah, we just corner boys with the corner office. I'm at the cap table, what the splits is. Not that cap table, boy, we live this.
Promoting how business can make the community better. No one does it better than MIKEKINGBIZ. On the mic with Mike. Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. There we go, MIKEKINGBIZ, that is who I am. One of Mike is the program coming to you from the Call Federal Credit Union Media Center, powered by Icon Realty Group, coming to you from high above in Wrightville. Hey folks, you know we talk to the best and the brightest. I've always said this lady, now I was been tracking her. I've been, sliding into your DM for a while. Starting down, and I always shout people out like, hey, remember me? I was the guy when you were down in Hopewell. You were doing some amazing things. Always saw you down there. And now we know you as the person from 1717 The Collective. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, Heather Lynn is in the building. Okay, ma'am, tell us who you are, what you do, because there's some movement.
Sure.
Along in things are, as they say, fluid.
Thank you for having me, and you're always welcome to slide into my DMs. I am the Director of Entrepreneurial Ecosystems regionally in Greater Richmond, and this whole initiative was launched by a group of directors of different entrepreneur support organizations or business support organizations, known informally as the 1717 Collective. And what's exciting is that we have rebranded the solution that we are building as Good Company. So we are now Good Company, and you can find us at goodcompanyva.org. And our focus is really on making the journey of entrepreneurship more straightforward and easier to navigate. We know that when someone has a big idea, or they are starting a business, or they're running a business, it can be really overwhelming, and not everyone has the time to really understand and decode this whole landscape of business support resources, programs, organizations, incentives, grants, funding, etc. So we've really tried to improve clarity in that landscape for
business owners, entrepreneurs know what they know.
Yes.
And some of that, a lot of times, aren't resources that are out there to help them. Mm-hmm. So when you started 1717, we're kind of like, we knew you had to get, the pulse of the area. But because there's owners and founders, they were kind of like in silos. Mm-hmm. And it's turned into, you were in everything. Talking to entrepreneurs out there. So you have the map of that. And then when people realized what resource you were, what was the response?
Mm-hmm. I think what's unique about the work that we're doing is that we're trying to be that connective tissue between all the support organizations in the region, and then also between the general business public and those support organizations. And so I think the reaction really has been, oh my gosh, we've needed this for so long. There's a lot of incredible work being done in the region. There's so many organizations that are offering like really, really incredible support, but that connectivity was missing between all the organizations. So we convene a lot of the different business support groups, economic development, some people from chambers, multicultural groups, just to make sure that everyone is talking to each other and that they know how to be good referral partners to each other. Because everyone's either really busy running an organization or everyone's really busy running a business. And so we're trying to be that navigation clarity partner on both sides. And we're also trying to help facilitate some regional planning so that we can really understand better, where are we really going as far as the support that we're providing business owners in the region. So I think people have been excited on both ends that this needs to happen.
So when you came in, and it was an idea for what you do, it's worked. And now it's morphed into, when did you realize that it would work? Because it was an idea, and now you're saying, okay, it's worked pretty well. Now all of a sudden we have to rebrand because now this is something that's scalable. Take us through that timeline a little bit.
Sure. So I think what this really has been is community organizing for the business support landscape. And in order to do that, you need to get out and meet everyone and build those relationships and get an understanding from them of how they want to be known in the ecosystem in the region. How do you want people referred to you? You know, who are you serving? What does that look like? So having all those conversations and building those relationships, that was essential when we were getting started. And now we are really trying to take everything that we've mapped out and get that back into the hands of the community and the business owners. And so we're kind of at this interesting point where we knew it needed to happen, and we were still trying to figure out, you know, what form this solution or response to that need would take. So we have an online navigator quiz now. We have a welcome packet for entrepreneurs. We're piloting all of these things, and we're really trying to, as we move into the fall, focus on kind of scaling this and designing me out of it a little bit. And so that shift from a group that recognize that there is a challenge in the ecosystem, things are confusing, there's a lot going on, people don't know necessarily that all these resources exist to support them. So that problem, we've now tried to build some solutions around it. And so that's when we knew that, okay, this is different, this hasn't been built before, and we think it's something that can work, but we need to get that awareness of what we've built out to the broader region. So it's been sort of a transition, and a lot of it's just been kind of like, just like a business owner, and you know, you're trying things, you're testing things, you're piloting things, and we'd love everyone's feedback on what we're building at goodcompanyva.org. But another kind of call to action that we have right now is we are trying to capture stories from business owners and entrepreneurs across the region on what the experience of trying to find resources has been like for them. Did you find what you needed? What was the experience like once you got into a program? Where else are there barriers in the region that we need to address as that entrepreneur support landscape organization?
And you got the master storyteller, James Warren, doing it.
Yes, we are partnered with Share More Stories on this, which is a local company. They're doing really phenomenal work, and they are helping us really get some customer exploration data around what it's like to be a business owner in the region trying to find support. And so we invite everyone that is interested in sharing their story. We're really trying to figure out, you know, maybe what's an experience you haven't been able to talk about, or we want the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we can really, as a region, get together and figure out what barriers continue to exist that we might not have considered for business owners. We want to try to remove those. So Share More Stories is fantastic, and we're using their Seek platform. So if you go to goodcompanyva.org/stories and you click on that Seek button, you can share your information, share your frustration, share your praise of an organization, whatever your experience has been. We'd love to hear it, and it's a couple of questions, and you can share it by recording audio really quickly or by doing kind of a guided storytelling exchange. So we're really trying to do a sprint over the next 30 days to capture as many stories as possible.
So you say you grew up in the country, and you know, there's distance between you and other folks. Being a business owner and entrepreneur, you could be in a crowded area and you feel like that person out in no man's land. Business owners know what they know. Entrepreneurs, founders, they know, they get that part. It's all the other things that can help you that they may not be able, they don't even know that they exist. And there's an answer to your question over there. And here you're noodling on it, trying to figure it out, working through it, and there's the resources that are there, and that's what you guys have brought together. I always say cool people really know cool people. Now, you got some folks behind you, which you guys talk about who you have, because there's certain people near and dear to me. Talk about the groups that are part of the Good Company.
Sure. So The organizations that helped basically rally support around solving this problem are the Metropolitan Business League. So they're absolutely fantastic, and they're located on the first floor at the Michael Westmer Center for Innovation. It's also Bridging Virginia, Stratton, Virginia. So all three of those organizations are in that one building in Shacklebobbing, and they're serving small women and minority-owned entrepreneurs. They're supporting tech entrepreneurs or ones that have high growth potential, also consumer packaged good entrepreneurs, or they're doing microloans. So between those organizations. We also are working closely with Blackstreet. They're really focused on back-end operations and systems so that they can help Main Street Black-owned businesses scale.
And speaking of Rashida, we saw her last week at, what's the thing we were at?
Oh man, I know I've gone to a bunch of events.
No, we were there at the wine place.
We'll think of it by the end.
We will think of it by the end.
We were at the Founder Summit.
That's exactly
so
where
that's
we are.
another organization. Lighthouse Network is really phenomenal. And they hosted their second annual Founder Summit at the West Office Collaborative, and they had a kickoff dinner.
Yeah, the kickoff dinner.
Partisan.
And so I know Rashida as Blackstreet.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, but no, I'm a founder, Mike. I'm not going to tell you because if I tell you, everybody will know. She goes, I'm a founder and I'm working on something big. Mm-hmm. So she's just like, people, you know them for one thing, but people are working on, among other things that they have in their back pocket. So It was funny that, we know her as Blackstreet, but she said, man, I got something that I'm working on. And that's the part that you guys play in what you do, supporting people. You also got, what is it, Rich VA?
There is Rich RVA, which is a close partner of ours, and they've been focusing on this ecosystem space for a while. And they are trying to really address the Black Mountain wealth gap through strengthening the ecosystem and building out a resource hub. We also, some of the early organizations that help launch support for this are the Capital Region Small Business Development Center. So they do one-on-one counseling for entrepreneurs. It's free because you're already paying your taxes. So they're partially funded by the Small Business Administration and then Locus. We also have we were working with the Women's Business Center of Central Virginia. I think they just hired a new director, which is exciting. And let me see, did I get all 7 there? So we're working with a lot of really amazing organizations that help get this started, but our focus is on all of the entrepreneur support organizations through the region. So we're trying to refer out or guide people or act as a concierge for people to get them to some potential right organizations for them. So we're trying to be informational and kind of be at the balcony view of things. And then once we get someone to an organization that is a good home base, they can dive deeper into that education. So we're not doing the advising, we're just understanding who people are, where they are in their journey, and then we're trying to get them to a really great fit for them to kind of continue their growth as a business and their journey. So
Heather Lynn, good company.
Yes, we are a good company, and the idea is that business is better with good company, and we're trying to get you to the right fit for you in the region as a business owner.
And you are going to leave the flyers here, are they here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so folks, when you come into the studio, you're able to get the information. These are resources that can help you really take your business to the next level. Ma'am, one last time, how can people reach you?
So you can go to goodcompanyva.org, and then my contact information is on the website. And really what we're trying to push out right now is goodcompanyva.org/stories. If you're a business owner and entrepreneur, we'd love to hear from you. Click on that Seek project and let us know what it's been like for you trying to find what you need for your business.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for coming in. It's Heather Lynn. It's on the Mike, the program, MIKEKINGBIZ, coming to you. As I say, make sure you take care of sponsors and advertisers. They help us stay on the air, and my grandkids need stuff.
My name is Isabella, and you're listening to MIKEKINGBIZ. Hubby, that's my scam.
Welcome to the Chesterfield Chamber, The Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce is committed to the growth of business and the success of its members. The Chamber is dedicated to driving business growth and sustainability to you, our members. With more than 500 member businesses ranging from small family-owned companies to major employers, we are excited for the future of business in our localities while fostering a thriving collaborative community. We create strategic partnerships across our local, government, and business networks for economic growth and workforce development. You can connect with the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce through our various committees, large and small group events, along with our monthly luncheons. We look forward to working with you. Follow us on social media or visit our website at chesterfieldchamber.com for more information.
You are here, helping us give everyone the chance to live a longer, healthier life, free from breast cancer. You are survivors, you are thrivers and supporters. You are the heartbeat of the #1 breast cancer movement in the country. You are making strides against breast cancer.
Making Strides Walk of Central Virginia at Monroe Park on October 17th at 9 a.m.
Look at you or look at the camera?
I don't know. We're just going to be talking.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mike King, coming to you from the offices, the palatial offices of Icon Realty Group /ERA. We're here today talking to Jennifer Montague. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So it's either I'm going to your city down in Colonial Heights.
Oh, okay.
Is that where?
Okay, Chester. We're in Chester.
Chester. I knew it's one of those down there.
Listen, we are in 98 communities throughout Central Virginia, so we're all over. But
And she is,
I put the offices in Chester.
and she is on the road providing information leadership as the COO president of Columbia Gas of Virginia. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so tell us who you are and what you do.
So you already said my title, Mike.
Yes.
Jennifer Montague, and I, Columbia Gas of Virginia, we provide safe and reliable natural gas to, again, 98 communities throughout the state. And really today I'm here to talk about 811, because today is today August the 11th or it's August 10th?
It's tomorrow.
The 10th. Tomorrow is going to be 811.
Because I have Dig in my office.
There we go.
Dig is in the studio. And we talked about what that means, like be careful, all the things.
Yes.
We don't see the hidden dangers of just digging willy-nilly.
That's right. That's right. So tomorrow is 811 day, and the reason we celebrate it on 811 is because we want people to call 811 before they dig. And you just talked about, the hazards of digging willy-nilly. We really want to make sure that people stay safe, that when they dig, if they're doing a special project in their house, they're planting a garden, they're putting in a new patio, whatever they're doing, you're supposed to call 811 at least 3 days before you start digging, so you don't end up hitting a gas line and causing a leak and just creating an unsafe environment. So that's really what we want.
One of the things, so your team came in and they talked about natural gas, how dangerous it is. And we always say, natural gas smells like rotten eggs. And we're like, but it doesn't really. That's a safety precaution that was put in.
That's right. So actually, natural gas is a colorless, odorless gas. And we deliberately put mercaptan in it, which smells like natural eggs. So which smells like rotten eggs. So people then can realize, ooh, there's something wrong. But we do that because we want people, if they smell that, we want them to know, and we want them to we want them to contact us immediately. But this 811 is so people don't have to do that they don't have to hit a line and they don't have to smell the rotten egg smell, that they can contact us. And there's actually markings on the ground, Mike. I think the markings for there's markings for different utilities, but ours are yellow. So you should see markings on the ground for the utility. Sometimes the rain takes them away, but that's why it's always safe to call 811 before you dig. And it just takes a few minutes. And it's actually also the law. You're supposed to do that.
Oh, it's the law. It's not suggested.
It's not suggested.
It's not. We are not suggesting you do this.
Right.
We're telling this is what you should do.
It's really for safety.
Yeah, because it is something for people when they hit a line, catastrophic things can happen. Mm-hmm. So Jennifer is here. How can people get information about Columbia Gas?
So if they want information about Columbia Gas, and especially if people are, if they're struggling to pay their bills, I know sometimes the month is longer than the money. So if people are struggling to pay their bills, they can reach out to Columbia Gas, columbiagasva.com, and they can look at our energy assistance programs. Now is a good time to be looking at our energy assistance programs, or they can just call our number to talk if they're having a hard time paying their bill. There are programs available, LIHEAP, there's programs to help out with energy efficiency if they want to make their home a little bit more less leaky and actually conserve energy. So we have all kinds of programs. So they should reach out to us and reach out to us before they
We
get
know
into trouble.
that you guys provide the gas for us. There's so many other things that you guys do as a community champion sponsors and helping people. So you had an ambassador program?
We did. We just wrapped up our third. This is the third time we did it. Our youth ambassador program.
Okay.
And this one I'm very proud of, Mike. So these are students from Petersburg.
Okay.
This year I believe we had 23. We've had varying numbers, as many as 30, but it's an 8-week long paid internship.
Which
They
is a
get
beautiful
paid,
thing.
Which is a beautiful thing. These are for high school juniors and seniors, and they spend 8 weeks with us. We partnered with the nonprofit organization, To Hype, which Pastor Lamont Hobbs helped organize that program. But we partnered with them. And they basically, for 8 weeks, they learned what it's like to have a career in energy. They heard from a variety of people. They talked to the engineers, they talked to the field workers, they talked to people in cybersecurity and marketing, regulatory, our energy assistance program, our energy efficiency programs. So they really learned a wide variety. They talked to legal, and that's one thing that I want young people to know, especially in community, is that having a career in energy, one, it pays really well. But two, there are a wide variety of jobs that you can have. And that's one reason why we wanted these youth ambassadors to learn about this program. So they've done that. And again, it was third year, and I was really proud of them. At their graduation, Mike, we had not only did we have the Virginia Chief Energy Officer come and speak to them. And that's Chief Josephus Almond, who's in Spanberger's organization, so he got a chance to come and speak to them. We had someone from a delegate's office, and then we had, oh my goodness, she is Miss Virginia International, came and spoke to them. So it was nice to be able to, have that program come to.
There's so many
for their graduation.
opportunities that we don't even think about. Like most people would not think about careers in energy.
That's right.
And so, but one, you're sort of the poster child of what it can do. Because one, it's just people in the community. Another, it's women. I see the events that you go to, and for a younger person who's never been in that world, those are opportunities that somebody else gets, or
Right.
maybe we don't even never hear about them. Explain why that's so important to you and Columbia Gas.
Well, you're talking about women, but I mean, the representation of women and the representation of people of color, yes, is important to us at Columbia Gas. And we actually do a really good job of that in terms of representation. But you are right. The awareness of the types of jobs that are available, the fact that there are jobs available, and energy, it's not really sexy. People don't think of it as exciting.
It is not.
But I will say, Mike, it is foundational to everything that we do. You want to, stay warm in the wintertime, you need energy. You want to be able to cook your food. If you've got natural gas, you do that. You want to be able to, heat your clothes, dry, wash and dry your clothes. You got that. And then on the electric side, all of the things, we wouldn't be able to have this video if it weren't for electricity.
True.
We wouldn't be able to, you want to flip on your lights. You want to be able to watch your video games. You want to be able to watch, whatever you're watching. I'm watching House of Dragons right now. But whatever you want to watch, and all of the artificial intelligence that's coming into place, that is all foundational, right? None of that can happen. Energy is really the foundation of the ability of all those things to happen. So that's one reason why I want young people to realize energy is really foundational. And like I said, it's from a career standpoint, you can make you can make really good money working for an energy company. And it can be for us at Columbia Gas, You can work for Virginia Natural Gas. You can work for Dominion. There are lots of, and there's, wherever you go in the U.S., there's going to be an electric company, a gas company, a water company. I want young people to realize that these options are available for them.
One of the things that you also do is supporting the community. You open your facility up, and the talent you have there is amazing. What's it like when kids or people are coming? They don't know what to expect.
Right.
And then they get there, and it's like, wow.
Right. So we have a couple of different programs where we do that. So we have a Introduce a Girl to STEAM Day, and these are 3rd and 4th graders, and they come. This is usually in the first part of the year, and they come and they see our safety town. They get a chance to see a blue box experiment where there's like a little explosion. So they basically see what happens with natural gas if it reaches an ignition source. And it really does open up their eyes, and they start to think, oh, this is kind of interesting. We also have them do exercises where they actually get to sort of map out like a little pipeline, like as if they were building a pipeline the way our engineers do. And we have them do that with tubes and little wires and everything. So they have a fun time doing that. They learn how to do a squeeze off to sort of prevent a leak. So they do those sorts of things. So that's what we do in the Introduce a Girl to STEAM Day. We also are going out in Richmond is having Mission Tomorrow, which is for middle schoolers. And we bring out our bucket trucks, and we, have
I've seen you guys.
So we do the same squeeze off. It is a madhouse, but we do that same kind of, the squeeze off experiment, and we line up people to come in, and so they can learn about that. So we do that. Up here in Richmond, we do Mission Tomorrow, and down in the Suffolk area, we do Worlds of Work. Same thing, middle schoolers trying to learn that. And then, like I said, for the high schoolers, we do the Youth Ambassador Program.
On the mic with Mike, Jennifer is here with us, Columbia Gas of Virginia, talking about all the amazing things that happen at their facility, in their organization, and the impact that they have on the community. What other events do you have coming up, ma'am? So be sure, if you have trouble paying your bills, now's the time. Do not wait. Right. You'll be back again in October, November, saying, folks,
that's right.
The clock is running.
And LIHEAP is starting, and please, that's
yes.
right. So I definitely will be back, and I'll be telling people about LIHEAP. But people should contact us now. The time is, if you're struggling, please do contact us.
So how do we get a person who wants to be a part of the ambassador program? How do they go about that?
You mean if they have a young person
yes.
and they want to get enrolled in the Youth Ambassador program? I suppose they can contact you, and I'll put them in touch with Nicole, because we're not taking Youth Ambassador again. Their program just finished. We start recruiting them, I think, in the May time period, for to get a job, to get an internship for next summer.
All righty, Jennifer Montague is here with us on the mic with Mike. How can people reach you, ma'am? They can reach us basically at columbiagasva.com, or they can call our 800 number. Can I circle right back to 811 Day, definitely.
Which is tomorrow? I want to really reiterate that I want to make sure that people, if they are digging or doing any projects, that they make sure that where they are, that they have the 811 come out, that they mark the lines, that they put the lines down, and that once those lines are marked, that they only hand dig down to 24 inches or 2 feet within the width of that utility line, because we really, really want, so only hand dig. So no, if they're doing a big project, putting in a patio, putting whatever, if there's a line, if they've called 811, the line is marked, they really can't, take a big backhoe and dig, because we want to make sure that people don't end up hitting those lines. So we want to make sure that those lines are marked at least 3 days before that work is supposed to occur. And that they can contact us. 811 is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So they can contact us anytime. So I really want people to realize, I didn't get around to contacting 811. It only takes a few seconds, but we really want to make sure that people do that if they're doing any digging projects that could potentially hit lines.
Last year, your team came out and we talked about 811 Day, very important, like you said. Don't be so quick. Just take a moment. It does not take long.
That's right. That's right. And if you have a contractor doing the work, make sure don't assume that your contractor will have just called them. Ask your contractor. Hey, you're putting in place, whatever people have going on, but you're putting in place something. Please make sure that you are, putting that in place.
On the mic, Jennifer, she has to go. Her schedule is tight. And her phone is ringing because I know who that is.
I'm sorry, Stephanie.
Exactly. Exactly. On the mic, Mike, Jennifer, thank you for your time. Thank you for being a sponsor of the program and supporting us. Anything, folks, they're doing some amazing things out in the community, Columbia Gas, Virginia. Thanks, folks. Take care.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Mike King back. Jennifer's back. Some things are so good, we couldn't let it go by. We could not. We'd be, as they say, my preacher sister and cousins, I'd be remiss if we didn't get to this. Ma'am, what did we miss?
So the one thing that we missed, and I want to make sure people know, is if they need to contact 811, they can contact it on va811.com. Again, if they want to learn any information about 811 or they need to contact 811 because they have a big project that they're digging, please contact va811.com, or they can contact columbiagasva.com/811.
So folks, do the responsible thing. Don't take chances. Call or get with 811. Thanks. Now take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The new campus at Bryant and Stratton College strengthens relationships with our employers because it strengthens our talent pipeline within Chesterfield County. Employers gain access to well-prepared graduates ready to contribute to the workforce in the county.
We are so excited that with the YMCA and Bryant Stratton College that we've got the opportunity to support student learning. It is so wonderful to have this new campus here in the Richmond and Chesterfield area. There is accessibility to connect the business community alongside of the campus. So for the student, it really provides a well-rounded experience because I think there's the opportunity to grow and to be able to grow the offerings at the campus.
We are so fortunate. Our employer and community partners recognize that by working with Bryant and Stratton College, they're helping to train their future employees. The space really reflects what our employers are telling us that they need from our graduates. Employers impact our curriculum, they impact our clinical sites and internships. They are a partner with us as we educate our students.
I think from the perspective of keeping the campus with a regional focus, so in Chesterfield, serving and pulling from the Richmond community as well. Our entire region is focused on workforce development. We are focused on helping people reach their highest potential, and the education pipeline to the workforce development pipeline is absolutely critical. So the access to the classes, the experiences, it's an amazing campus that support education and provide more access to opportunity and grow the partnerships because of the new location.
I am so proud that Bryant and Stratton College, its graduates, its students, and its associates get to positively impact the Chesterfield-Richmond community. When I'm out and about and I see our graduates at work celebrating the profession that they studied with us, I just can't tell you what that means to me.
Hey there, little superstar. It's time to play. Grab your furry buddy. Let's go out today. With wagging tails and furry purrs, snakes and turtles and rabbits that twirl, sidekick adventures, just you and me, exploring the world, happy as can be. Sidekick adventures, let's have some fun with our best friends. The day's just begun.
Children's Hospital Foundation, the Cameron J. Hunter Foundation, Jacob's Chance.
Over 40,000 minutes of broadcast time.
So undefeated Down syndrome association.
It's telling their story, maximizing their
Sorry, Dr.
The Chesterfield Chamber of
creating partnerships that make a difference.
Michael Office of Economic Development.
MIKEKINGBIZ, the social enterprise brand on a business. MIKEKINGBIZ.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mike with Mike. Mike King here, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Credit Union, powered by Icon Commercial Realty. And that's what we do. We're coming to you from high above Henrico. You can follow me on social platforms on the Mic with Mike, as Mike King Biz. What we do is we talk to the best and the brightest. Yes, we do. So Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram is where you find us, as well as Saturday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Richmond. We got a powerhouse show here. Yes, we do. A lot of good friends are here with us. Go down the list and tell our good friend Dr. Sarah's here. Yes, so we're going to start off with her because for folks who don't know, yes, I've come up with a wall of fame. Friend Dr. Sarah's on it, but during that promo, she didn't hear Friendship Circle, Virginia. And she came swagged out, no doubt. That's how they rock. She is one of our Mikey Award winners here. Dr. Sarah, start off there and let's go.
Thank you so much, Mike, for having us all on. I am Dr. Sarah Cran-Cement, and I am the Executive Director of Friendship Circle of Virginia, and so happy to be here. And at Friendship Circle, we focus on friendship for people with and without disabilities, and belonging, and community, and connections.
There you go, my man. Sportable's in the house.
Yes. My name is David Robbins. I am the Community Outreach Manager for Sportable. We're a nonprofit in the Richmond area. We do adaptive sports for youth and adults with physical disabilities, visual impairments, and really anybody who needs a physical accommodation to participate in sport and recreation.
How long have you been there?
This is my third, little over 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm Kate Mardigan. I'm the Executive Director of Jacob's Chance, and we provide opportunities, enrichment, social, athletics. That's how we started for people with intellectual or developmental disabilities.
There you go. So a lot of amazing organizations are here with us. We just like to thank. Come on in really quickly. So on Mike King here. Dr. Sarah, Friendship Circle. Tell us about what you guys do, because I always joke and say that there are medical issues, and a lot of times there's answers to medical issues. It's the friendship piece that's lost. Everybody needs friends. Touch on that and tell us what you guys are doing here today. You guys got something amazing on deck.
You know, I'll just speak for a second, just on personal experience. It happens to have been a really strange week for me, and I've been involved with lots of friends going through really hard times. And, you know, in life that we all experience those times where people are going through all sorts of things. I won't list them all, but whether it's mental health, whether it is relationships, whatever is going on, and then of course medical and trauma and emergencies. But in all of these spaces, people just need friends. They feel lonely, it feels isolating, and they need somebody who they can talk to and share with, and who can be there in the middle of the night or whenever they need someone. And for the disability community, very often that does happen for many, and very often it doesn't. And so at Friendship Circle, really what we try to do is build these connections. We always say our tagline is building an inclusive community, one friendship at a time. And that thing about friendship and connection and the consistency of having someone to meet over and over again, to build a relationship, it doesn't happen at a one-off. It doesn't happen one time you meet someone. It happens when you get to see them over and over again. And those are the kinds of experiences that we try to facilitate. People coming together, those that have disabilities in the community and those that don't. We work a lot with teenagers and young adults from the community who come to be a friend, to receive friendship, and to learn about someone else. And that's how connections and relationships and that's how connections and relationships are built. So that's what we do. And
multitasking right there. So Sportable is kind of crazy, you know. And so I used to live at the Faison building, and so I got spirits. I'd been a medic in the Army, so I knew medicine. But my wife had been a nurse, and she knew the medical piece, but really didn't know about intellectual things. When I see the stuff that Sportable's doing, I mean, come on now. You get wheelchairs out on water, because, and the thing was, the people really, they didn't feel left out anymore, because it's something like rock climbing. I mean, come on now, what you guys, ridiculous? Yeah. But they lived a life that, and living there, seeing folks, that it made sense, because now they're living a life that everybody does. Yeah. And so, when you guys are doing the adaptive sports, that's a pretty cool thing. So touch on some of the crazy things that you guys do. That people would kind of look at you sideways, especially like, hey, bring your kid on out here. Bring it, paddle boarding. Excuse me.
No, of course. So yeah, Sportable, we offer over 20 different adaptive sports programs throughout the year. So there's always something different going on. Like you said, we do rock climbing, we do archery, we do kayaking, rowing and erging.
Maybe you do what?
Rowing or erging. Erging is like the indoor machine for rowing, and rowing like rowing on the water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You knew? Oh yeah, you knew that.
I did.
Doc, you knew that?
Totally not.
Yeah, and and I could go on and on, but yeah, wheelchair basketball, competitive opportunities, recreational. If people just want to have fun, any option for people to get out and get active, and we have the physical adaptations necessary to help them do that.
Shout out to my man Hunter, who is always out there. It's like the Pied Piper guy out there with this years ago when I first got here in 2014. Tell that story. So, Kate, we do go way back.
We do go back.
We do go way back. Multiple stations. So, tell about your organization.
Yep. So, quite a few years ago, a lot of years ago.
Yes, that's for sure.
Leaving a baseball field with my son and coming across another field where parents were standing out there with their kids. And I stopped and asked questions what was going on, and realizing that their children had disabilities. And I said, well, gosh, I got 2 hours to sit in the stands. What can I do for these parents to be able to do the same thing I did? So I brought some volunteers out there, and from there we just, it's all about giving opportunities for both people with disabilities, but also those that are caring for those with disabilities. And like Sarah was talking about, it's all about relationships and bonding and bringing people together. So from baseball, it just spun into, we do 7 different sports all year round, along with kayaking and rock wall climbing and
shout out Beyond Boundaries.
Yeah.
I seen my man Shep not too long ago out there doing. Now he's another one doing crazy things. Okay, man.
Yeah, I love to see it.
Yeah, we do it. We do it all together. Got surf camp this weekend. It's just nonstop.
One of the things, so we always talk about. My wife says this is my little cave with my friends all coming through here, and you know what people do. Hey, shout out! So people never know who's going to be in the studio, and you guys can't see it. The estimators are in the building. So they're another military couple too. So shout out to all the military folks. I like to say, Uncle gave me a wife 46 years ago in some scrubs. Yes. So they're here. She is a celebrated artist. He is. Everyone knows Stop the Madness. But when you come into the studio, it's people coming together. People come to you guys, sometimes they look at their kid and, life is passing them by because they don't have all those things. What's it like when they show up and all of a sudden their kid starts having fun that you never thought was possible? They found their crew. That's what I realized when we lived at Faison. Everybody said, yeah, they got problems and stuff like that. They didn't have problems when they were with their friends.
That's right.
No, they didn't. They all were up there like, what are y'all doing? They're like, nothing. You guys are doing something shady. That's for sure. Because you're with your friends. And I tell people, everybody gets wobbly when the screws are tightened. Everybody. The wheels start getting a little shaky. So what's it like when parents come and then all of a sudden they see their kid having fun?
I guess I'll start, but I know there's so much that we all have to share. I'll just share a story that happened again this week using all current examples. We just had one of our programs that we started and piloted last year was this pop-up cafe where we had adults with disabilities who were serving food and being greeters at a cafe that the community was invited to. And we're doing more of that this year. And we had a young adult. We partnered with a local college to create these peer-to-peer relationships and experiences. And they came together for this event and they were talking. And this was 8 months ago. And this week I saw the young adult from college and I was talking to her, and we have a young adult event coming up because we're now also doing some young adult gatherings. And she was like, oh, I'm going to bring this girl who with this friend of mine who I met. We've been hanging out nonstop since we met at that event. And I had no idea. And she's like, oh, we're just going to come together because we hang out all the time. And to know these two individuals, to see and to hear that in action, just by making the connection. Forget the things that we see that actually happen. The stuff that we don't see, those connections that are made, those are invaluable. They're precious. They're amazing.
Lifelong. They're lifelong.
They are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, really. I can share that I know at Sportable recently, we've been focusing a lot more on our youth-specific programming. We serve individuals age 5 to 105. My grandfather is 80 and he does cycling with us. And yeah, no, it's great. We were just out on the Capitol Trail this morning.
That's awesome.
But we have recently been focusing a little bit more on youth programming because we do understand that it's important for kids to be able to be in that kind of environment with other kids, right? And I remember a story that was shared with me recently from our youth cycling that we started doing in Chesterfield County. There's this one kid who, when he first came in, because for cycling especially, the bikes are very much like specific to the person, right? Because you have to have the right pedal length and all of those different kinds of things, whether it needs e-assist or any kind of special straps. And so we will have people come in for a fitting for their bikes before the program starts. So that way, when we get to the program, they can just be ready to go and get it started. And when this kid came in for his fitting, he was very shy, very quiet. It was kind of, it was mostly his mom talking. But within 2 or 3 weeks of the program starting, he was making friends, being jovial, just really came out of his shell. And it's really awesome just to hear those kinds of stories, especially because kids with disabilities aren't always getting that community. Yeah. They might be, they might be the only kid at their school with that specific disability or something like that. And so being able to be in an environment where you're not the one who's left out is really, really powerful, I think.
Can I ask you a question, sir? Now, I don't want to be like the old man, but where do we find the next generation of young folks like you to go out? Because I always say, like, who takes care of the caregiver? The caregiver won't stop. A lot of times people are out there chasing younger folks and older people too, chasing the money, chasing all those things. How do we find, like, what was it to pull to nonprofit work that works for you? And then how do we find that next generation of those people?
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, I'm born and raised in Richmond. I grew up in the East End around Fulton. And I think that having experienced a lot of growing up, I was raised by my single dad. My mom was around, but I lived with my dad mostly. And we were kind of in that position where you're like right on the edge of poverty. My dad always used to say we made too much money to get any assistance, but we didn't necessarily make enough to get by. And so being in that kind of precarious position just put me in a lot of experiences as a child, as a teenager, that I think really made me realize the importance of community and having just resources available for people, because because that's one of the things that I think about is that what the difference could have been if I'd have just known about all these different things that, because now, especially working in the nonprofit community, there are actually a lot of programs that I'm like this actually might have been able to help us when I was a kid, but my dad might not have known about it or something like that. And so it's creating that network of resources and making sure that everybody who needs and the people who need things the most have access to them.
I think Richmond is...
Can I get that red box right there for a second? 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, I don't have real equipment. I don't have real equipment like Stop the Madness, but this is my sound system here. So, congratulations on that. You didn't know what you were going through at that moment, but, congratulations to you, and you wanted to chime in.
No, I was just going to say Richmond is one of the coolest cities that has so many great nonprofits doing so many great things, and just, I don't know, I love Richmond and talking about all the good, because there is more good out there than there is bad. Mm-hmm. And it's up to you, Mike King, to make sure everyone knows about all this great things going on.
Yeah. And we were just talking about this also, that you have the ability to, you're just 1 degree of separation, if that, from finding those resources, right?
I didn't know they were coming today. Was I told that? Well, clearly. So we were over at at the synagogue, and so the room was full of people, and Doc was kind of telling people, to keep it down. Well, I guess her family was not getting the memo. She read them the riot act in a room full of people, just basically, hey, stop it. So I don't know. I may have missed it, but I didn't know you guys were coming. So it had been, the last time I saw you was at Girls for a Change.
Yeah, that
was a couple years ago?
Yep.
I'm sitting over at U of R minding my business, and I get a head nuggie from Hunter, come on, we're all dressed up. It didn't matter.
He probably had his long hair still then, didn't
No.
he? After he cut it?
Yes, and when I saw so people in the military, you know how when we got there, you knew who people were, and then they come out with a bald head,
Yes.
and you're just like, you're kind of looking at it. When I saw him, I was like in shock.
Yeah, no, he switched up the style a little bit ago. He's growing it out a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to quite get to the same. But.
Yeah, because that hair was legendary.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys all right, so 1 second, you guys got something coming up. Hold on a second. Okay, what's happening?
So on Sunday, August 30th, from 2 to 4 p.m., we'll be at the Henrico Sports and Event Center with RVA Adaptive Athletics Day. We're going to have multiple adaptive sports, taekwondo, seated volleyball, basketball, as well as seated volleyball. Did I say that already?
Yes.
Blind soccer.
Blind soccer, sorry.
Blind soccer?
Blind soccer, yes. In addition, we'll have a Century Room, we'll have snacks, lots of different stuff. Would love to see more people volunteer, so you guys can go to Friendship Circle's website and sign up there. But yeah, we're very excited for it. This is the 3rd annual.
And the name of it is?
RVA Adaptive Athletics Day.
What you guys call it something?
Totally rad.
You know what?
Totally rad.
There's nothing, nobody would think of more rad when they think of Dr. Sarah. Yes, I'm sure obviously that's. So when this is the 3rd one, what'd you learn from the first and second one that's going to be different this year?
I'll tell you something really cool that we learned, which actually has nothing to do with sports, that it happened at this event. I think it was last year. We had this event, and because we're all kind of joining forces, which is amazing. You talked about sharing resources and collaborating. I think we're all very committed to that, especially in the field that we're in with the disability community. There's so many families that benefit from all of our services, and there's overlap, and it's amazing and beautiful. And so we had all these families coming out and all these kids and young adults who were participating who had disabilities, and we didn't know all of them. And so suddenly we were at this space where we had an older child, young adult with a disability who needed to use the restroom and needed to be changed. And the first time we did this, the parent came out and it was a ADA accessible bathroom, but there was nowhere to change a larger person. And so this parent had, paper towels out, and this person was on the floor. It was not pleasant. And so at the last event that we had, we kind of brought this mobile changing station, and we did talk about this, and we ended up with a mat and a kind of massage table that we made into a higher changing table. And we were sectioned off a certain spot. And I'm not even sure if anyone actually used it the next time, but we had this option. And so for us at Friendship Circle, sometimes these events, obviously you're going to hear about the details that happen at the event, but sometimes there are these byproducts, again, sort of the stuff that happens in the quiet that change everything. And then we had this event at Carmax Park where we have Inclusion Day at the baseball stadium. And because of that experience that we did together, we were able to then implement an adult changing option area. And so there are things that come out of these collaborations, in addition to the families getting to meet each other, the kids getting to meet each other, experiencing all these sports, that just the collaboration and sharing of resources is so powerful. So,
We're always learning. We're always learning off of each other. I think it's we're so busy doing things and getting things straight, and we miss a step, or not even miss a step. We don't even think about that step because we're so focused over here. So it is great having our partners together and having guide each other through those moments. Yeah, that's a great.
It's something. So each of you have your people, who come to you. You know them in and out. But when you get together, they could use Sportable, or they could use and they may not. People don't know what they don't know. I mean, there's so many things happening. There's life. You're just putting out fires, and like you said, there could have been something that could have helped you guys before. But Dad's doing life. He's just like, yo, man, we got to keep this thing moving.
Yeah.
And we don't have the time. And so congratulations to what you guys are doing. Like you said, Richmond is a place where, every day somebody comes up and they're telling me, like, do you know? I don't know everybody. But I'm like, what's that? They're like, oh, wow, they're teaching the kids how to dive, and they got to go to, Hampton for a dive pool. I never heard of that. But there's somewhere somebody like, I thought that would be pretty cool. And then so that's what we're doing here. All right, Kate, we're gonna start that. And you, how can people? Ladies and gentlemen, I try to have an upscale show, nothing but the best here.
We know what to expect when we walk in.
I know, it's like, and so, we have moved to new digs. And so, we tried to try and be a little bit more, I don't know, like they're doing a construction out there, like they asked me to do it. It's like, it started out, oh, this is nothing. 2 weeks later, thing is still torn up. So, Kate, we're going to start off with you.
Go for it.
Tell us how can people reach you and what's the coolest thing you got going on right now?
Well, obviously the coolest thing
is rad.
We're
totally rad. You got to have a special outfit for something.
We're working on it.
We are.
I bet you.
Next time we'll send you. I don't know. We'll find one.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's like, because I'm part of NABO. You ever heard of them? National Association of Women Business Owners?
Yes.
I'm the NABRO. That's who I am. I support the group. So they're like, they got little pins. I'm like, no, I don't want a pin. I want a brooch. I want to brooch something, over the top.
I appreciate that.
So Kate, rad is your thing right now. How can people reach you?
Yeah, you can go to our website, jacobschance.org. And other than rad, we just did a really cool thing yesterday. I know it's behind, it's in the past, but we went to Dominion Raceway and we did a really cool thing with, oh my gosh, forgotten the name of it already, but race cars, not race cars, sports cars. We went out to Dominion Raceway and we had about 30 people get to take rides and around I won't say how fast we were going in case the insurance company is listening, but we were going.
You were going fast.
We were going fast and furious. It was awesome. It was an awesome day.
And I know there were people who were scared to get in.
No.
They weren't.
No, I want that car. And then I want back in that car. And it was a great. That
sounds awesome.
I bet that's something that's really cool. Sir, what's happening in Sportable and how can we reach you?
Sportable, we always have something different going on. Our fall programming just dropped, so you can go to our website, www.sportable.org, check out our programming, check out volunteering opportunities, check out that donation button,
hold on a second. That's right, because, here
we are talking business, but seriously, David at sportable.org if you guys want to reach out to me, any questions or anything like that, always looking to connect, collaborate, all of those different kinds of things.
Doc?
Thanks for having us.
What do we got going on? So definitely rad coming up August 30th, Sunday, 2 to 4, and we need volunteers.
Yes.
We really need volunteers, so maybe push that a little. We're looking for, we always, at all of our events, we actually pair individuals so that friendship and that experience can blossom. So come on out. So that's number one. Also, thinking about the fall, we have our annual walk and roll. And so it's a fully accessible. It's going to be in the kind of Maymont Bird Park area, and we have a new location in the same space, so a big, nice lake that we're walking around. There's tons of free activities. It is super family friendly. Again, it is totally wheelchair accessible, stroller accessible, skateboard accessible. Take your pick. It is around and available. And this year, for the second time, we are actually bringing in a food truck from DC that is run by Adults with Disabilities. And so that is going to be around, and there's just tons of fun stuff. So it is free, it is available, it is awesome, and you can find more on our website, friendshipcircleva.org or fcva.org.
One thing you had talked about before, because the events are free, like the things, it allows families to try them without fear of, going to something that costs a ton. Like when I took my kids to Disney, I took them to Disney too old. I think, They weren't, they were cool.
They weren't crying and having temper tantrums.
Yeah, but still they're like that. And so being from up north, we didn't realize you don't go to Florida in August and like that thing. And so we're down there, they're like, I spent a ton of money and they just kept saying, Dad, are you hot? Boy, that is hot. Yeah, that is hot. I'm like, I don't care if you have a heat stroke. The amount of money that I didn't spend, exactly. So I think they were like 12 and 14, 11. But I'm like, I didn't care. You guys are out here baking. The kind of money that I didn't spend.
Mine wanted to go to the pool. I was like, no. We're not going to the pool.
Exactly. The sun's leaning right here on us. No. Yep. So, Doc, that's what you say, that because the things people are doing are free, it takes the financial burden off the families.
We talk about it all the time, right? Because it's hard to make everything free, and we rely on donations and sponsors for our walk and roll. We have sponsor opportunities, and we really need them because we're always really deciding. And also, people maybe don't feel as invested, right? If you don't pay for something and you register, you're like, all right, I'm not going to go today. Something came up, and if you pay, sometimes even if it's a few dollars, you're more invested. However, we keep coming back to this. So for us now, everything that we do is free, and the goal is to make sure that people can try and they can come. And we don't want barriers to entry on anything, which is why we have as little barrier to entry in every way. And money is a really big one. And so being able to respect that people have things that go on, they may cancel, last minute, and that's par for the course. But having that availability to come try it out, and if it doesn't work, to get to leave, and if it does work, we were able to experience something new. It has been worth it every time.
There you go. We'd like to thank you guys for coming on the program. Talked about the sponsors. I'd just like to thank my sponsors, really, Call Federal Credit. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike King here down in the big city of Petersburg. I got my man, the Councilman Howard Myers here. So I would say welcome to the program, but we're in your town.
Hey, Mike, thanks for coming to us.
Okay, so we don't have long to talk because this man is busy.
Oh, we running.
Okay, so exactly what are we doing down here today?
Mike, we're doing our grocery giveaway today here at Sycamore Towers. We're going over to Lafayette House, and then we're going to Laura Gardens.
Okay, and this is something that's done on a regular basis?
Regular basis. From now on through December. I'm sorry, through December.
Okay. And so we're inside. We have the footage. It's a madhouse in there. It is packed. People need help, and you guys are providing the service.
Absolutely. I hear every day that their food stamps have been hacked. That doesn't help the person who needs food.
No, that does not.
No.
One of the things that we're talking about, and we've had a conversation, you are running for office once again.
Yeah.
And this is a business show that people know me for. Business does help society be better. All those things have happened. You're helping people get food, get housing, all those things. Explain why that's so important to you, because you've done it for a very long time.
It's important to me. It's family instilled. We grew up in Richmond, Virginia, over in the north side. That's what we did. We helped our neighbors and made sure that everyone had some need, especially our seniors, together, running toilets, all of those things back in the day. It was a promise from our family to always give them.
So today's a big day, but there's always things going on in the community here. Touch on really quickly some of the other initiatives that we have going.
Other initiatives here, so we've got housing, rent to own, we have down payment assistance, we have a plethora of food giveaways here, not only for our seniors, but for the entire city of Petersburg. Our whole city thing at Mount Olivet Baptist Church on every first Monday from now until December. I'm there until July. Working on our infrastructure, our casino, and all of those things that are magical for us here.
It is a thriving business community. Just so really quickly touch on that, because people think it's a casino. There's a lot more things happening in town.
This is how we're talking. The casino is not going to save Petersburg. It's going to be thriving businesses that help support the casino and the city of Petersburg collectively. This is not just about a casino. This is about a multitude of small businesses coming together to kind of continue to grow wealth here in the city.
That's right. That's Councilman Howard Myers here. Oh, you guys are having
town hall, I believe, August 16th.
We'll be down there. MDO will be there. That's here. It's the madhouse down here in Petersburg. It is a thriving community, but always helping the citizens who are in need. Mike King, Howard Myers, how can we find you, sir?
804-590-7988. 804-590-7988. Call the clerk of court, not court, I'm sorry, the clerk of City Council, Tangi Hill, at 804-733-2332.
See, ladies and gentlemen, he didn't just give you his email address. He said, call him with the phone, and he got it in his pocket.
I get my phone number out all the time.
That's what we're talking about. One of Mike Howard Myers. The man got to go. He got work to do.
Yeah, we got
Thanks, now. Take care.
Thank you all.
Mike with Mike.
Oh, Mike with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike. He's like a
material. No, he's a businessman with a great radio show.
And he supports the nonprofits. Show and grow. 1 p.m. Friday, WNTW. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike King, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Credit Union Media Center, powered by Icon Commercial Realty, coming to you from high above Henrico. Hey, we got one of the new rising stars in the community here. She's like a Renaissance woman. You know, she does like aerial stuff and a storyteller and a project manager. Madam, tell us who you are and what you do.
I am Amber Coles, owner and principal consultant of Genuine Radiance. I created this strategic consultancy firm about 4.5 years ago, and I specialize in storytelling, project management, and strategy.
How does all those go together? Like that seems like the perfect storm of you. I can see. So you're a storyteller. You got a background in media.
Mm-hmm. I spent 6.5 years with the best team in Richmond, WTVR.
Shout out to good friends over at CBS 6. Alrighty, when you were there, what was the big takeaway that you learned from your time at CBS 6?
That is where I actually honed my project management skills. I like to tell people that I sat in chaos, and that's a good thing because we're in news, and we're in news, we're doing 12 different things. I was a newscast director, and what I tell people in lay terms means I press the buttons to put the things on air. But when I'm in that seat, I have 3 monitors I'm looking at. There's a whole wall of monitors. I got a producer I got to handle. There's audio, there's field producers, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I have to manage all of that seamlessly before we get to break. So it's kind of where I honed nothing phases me anymore. I've been in the situation where there's breaking weather and it's, 12 inches of snow outside. I've been in situations where there's a school building on fire down the street. I've been in all those situations. So there's nothing in an environment outside of that would ruffle me.
One of the things we see when you're in that business is if a person says 45 seconds, because you're giving a countdown when you guys are going back on air. If you say in TV media business, if you say a person has a minute, they think, man, that's a long time. I can go do this thing and get back to the chair and be not, because TV is exact. Yeah. It's not like radio where we kind of will move it back in. We didn't do this thing, but we'll get to it. Mm-hmm. TV is precise.
Very precise. There's also a funny story with Julie Bragg about, I thought I had time.
Shout out to Julie Bragg.
I love Julie.
A friend from Virginia Down Syndrome Association, one of the dancers there when I was a judge. Okay, ma'am. So now you also do something interesting with this whole aerial talk about. That's with the scarves, is that right?
So I don't do silks, which is the two things. It's called silks. I think you might have done a sling, which is kind of like a hammock situation.
I did a sling. It was not pretty.
Was not fun?
It was not fun and was not pretty because the video that came from it, I look bad.
He was like, I can't share this.
No, this one is going in the vault to stay there. Me and the thing turned upside down. And a bunch of people laughing at me. I was the only man there too, which did not help. It did not. Yeah, shout out to Heather Bailey, host the Sparrows. So if you want to be turned upside down, and go, but they're called silks.
Yes. So I go to Soul Aerial, which is just outside of Hardywood. They have 2 different locations. I started doing pole. I took a pole class for my birthday years ago. This was 5 years ago. And then I accidentally was like, oh, there's also aerials. So we started with silks. Here's the thing. I'm a very smart woman. I don't like the fact that I have to concentrate hard enough to know how to wrap myself if I'm doing a drop so I don't completely fall out of the silk and onto the floor. I have mastered in Lyra, which is the hula hoop that's in the air. I've mastered how to fall and make it look like I'm meant to do it with that apparatus. I have not done that in silks.
Well, that just looks like it could be problematic.
Just a bit.
With the silks.
Yeah.
Okay, so and what's that called again?
My apparatus is called Lyra.
Lyra.
And we have a bunch of different apparatuses. So we have silks, there's Lyra. A couple of my girls do chains, which is literally just chains hanging from a point. There's Lollipop, which is the Lyra on a stick, if you will. There's pole, obviously, is an art. Sling. that a couple of my friends like to do. So we do a lot of different things.
So on that one, so the business side of it, what do you teach classes?
I do not teach classes, actually. I am just a student.
You're just a student, okay. But that's something that you like to do.
It is something, and I told this to Flynn Cross, who owns Solar Area, when I had a business meeting with her. The day that my grandma passed, I had class that night. And you would think like, okay, your grandma passed, you're not going to class. I had to go to class to do something to like keep myself moving and keep myself together that day. So I went to my lyric class that day.
So you've had the regular job, you worked over at WTVR, and now emerging on the entrepreneurship. I will always ask people, how long do you sit on an idea and to take everybody has an idea to make that idea happen?
I am a person that, it probably is because I'm an Aquarius, that I kind of go through all of the scenarios of where something won't work. Or you go through like different conversations in your mind before you actually have it to be like, this could be that outcome. I do that a lot of times with ideas. I've been better at just kind of like setting an idea, creating structure around it, and then doing it. Case in point, because I worked in news, I don't like to be idle. I have to have things to do. And so in my downtime, which is crazy to say in my downtime, I host a podcast. I created a podcast called Suit, the letter N, and Screen. And next week will be the end of season 2. And I have to finish recording season 3 and edit it.
Okay, so what's the name of it again?
Suit in the letter N, Screen.
And what exactly is that?
So Suit and Screen, again, came out of just me needing to like do more things, but also try to piece together my love of television and movies and my love of consulting and what I do. So I take a television show or a movie and create a case study out of it in each podcast episode.
Okay. So when you're doing that, so what are you looking at, the business side of it or just the actual content of the show?
So for example, I love everybody, well, I can't say everybody, but I would think everybody's favorite Batman is Michael Keaton. And so I took Mike's face.
I mean, okay.
My favorite was Val Kilmer, but I understand that Michael Keaton is the greatest.
Well, maybe because I shared a birth date with Val Kilmer. So that would be mine. But I'm partial to the TV show Batman.
Yeah.
I watched Batman get darker and darker and darker and scarier.
Yeah.
As opposed to it was whimsical and ridiculous when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like that going into Gotham City got darker and darker. Oh, because I did tell you I interviewed Batman.
Oh yeah.
He's the West Virginia Batman.
Yeah.
He came and his wife was Wonder Woman and his daughter was Batgirl.
Oh.
And so he had a platform of bullying. And he had an anti-bullying platform.
Oh, that's right.
Come to the station, I tell him. He says, sure. And he has the Batmobile. I tell all my friends the Batmobile is going to be at ESPN Richmond. Well, the day that it happened, I see Batman, Wonder Woman, and Batgirl getting out of a minivan.
Not the Batmobile.
What happened? The Batmobile broke down. I'm like, who did it? The Joker?
Right.
I mean, like,
you couldn't take this to Wayne Enterprises and fix it?
How come you can't get it fixed? All my friends are discussing with me now because they showed up. Here's Batman. And it was kind of fun. It was funny, but that's the idea. So you write a case study about Batman. What is it? The good versus evil?
So you would think. I took 1989's Tim Burton's Batman with the illustrious Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, and it is a case study on persona management. So one of the things as an entrepreneur and a solopreneur specifically, the greatest threat to yourself is you. And the greatest threat to Batman and Wayne and Bruce Wayne is Batman or Bruce Wayne. It wasn't the Joker. It wasn't anybody else. He was his own enemy. And so what we see from Batman is how he is able to use Bruce Wayne in certain situations and how he's able to use Batman in certain situations and how he's able to use both at the same time when he needs to. So how can you do that in your business and your personal life?
Okay. How does the young Amber come up with that? That's different. And maybe that's somewhere in journalism. Maybe that's somewhere in English. How do you come up with that idea? So, because you would think that Batman's and Bruce Wayne would be one, and their, opponent would be Catwoman, Mr. Freeze, or all those, the Penguin, all those. But you're looking at Batman versus Bruce Wayne at times.
Yep. I don't know. I grew up with up under my mom and my grandma. I have half siblings, but I kind of grew up as an only child.
You seem like it.
So I guess just had a lot of time to kind of create and be creative.
One of the problems that being an only child brings is there's nobody to tell you that your thoughts are ridiculous.
No.
So you run with them like it's normal.
Yeah.
I had a firearms expert, and he came to the studio, and I asked him, and I told him we didn't have 100 channels of nothing. So Superman was one of my favorite shows. I asked him why, as a firearms expert, when we shot Superman all those times, the bullets didn't do anything, and we resorted to throwing a gun at Superman. Why? Why? He says, because, what else could he do? He tried everything else. To me, that was ridiculous. If the bullets didn't work, now you're just going to throw it at him?
Yeah, it's that's not going to work either.
No, it's not. And we had to kind of laugh about that. I'm saying, there's somebody that did tell me that, Mike, that was ridiculous. And I'm laughing at that as a grown man thinking back to, 1968.
Yeah.
So I can see what you put together with that is outstanding. And I don't know if people really think about things like that. So you watch something, and then everybody, for the most part, everybody will come up with one scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that people are thinking about that whole, Bruce Wayne, Batman kind of pull. It's not like a good one versus evil. Both of those are good. They're good people,
Mm-hmm.
you would think.
I actually had a comment on, an episode launched last week that I actually just posted, my favorite movie, Dead Presidents, and the case study there was the sunk cost fallacy. Because
hold on, man, wait a second. Okay, 1 second, ladies and gentlemen here. We gotta get something on this. Amber Coles with the sunk cost fallacy.
Yes, sir.
That just sounds smart. All right, man. Tell us what that is.
So the sunk costs are the things that you believed would give you some type of value.
Yes.
And the fallacy is the failure of those things not actually giving you value. So in Dead Presidents, Anthony believed, that's Lawrence Tate's character, if y'all haven't watched the movie in a while, he went to the Vietnam War.
Yes.
And he believed that going to the war, he did all of these things. He sacrificed a lot in that jungle. And he thought he would come back and be like, all right, cool. The red carpet's going to be rolled out. I'm going to have a job. I'm going to kind of get back to my groove. Not what happened. And so in his case, he and a bunch of people that he probably shouldn't have got together, specifically Cleon. I'm talking directly to, listen, anyway, he got a bunch of his friends together, some from the military, some from back home, and we decided we were going to rob a Brink Spank truck. Now, in theory, the idea sounded great when he said it, when he was like, they just gonna burn all of this money. That's not how he said it. He had an accent with the burn. I can't do it, but Keith David is phenomenal, and I can't do that accent of how he said burn.
The run with Keith David when he's running and limping and holding, that's a classic scene.
Yes. But he did all of this, and at a certain point, he realized all of what I've put into being this person in the military, they're not giving me anything for it. Everybody else who went to the military got those accolades, but for some reason the Vietnam War was a little different. They didn't get those same accolades, and he was black, so
yes,
that was also an added thing. So instead, he had tried, and now in the movie he's tried all the things. He's got a job. Things just keep slapping him in the face.
He didn't work with him and his woman,
Juanita. Oh, Juanita.
And that's my mother's name, so that hurt me even more.
Oh, baby. But it didn't work, and he got to the point where he was like, my exit strategy has to be to rob this truck. I don't know what they were planning to do afterwards. They told us, but I was like, I don't know how you thought you was going to get far after doing this, but it's what they did. But in your career or in your personal life, you don't want to get to the point where you have to rob a Brinks truck. Not literally, but I mean, get to that exit point of I got to pull out of my retirement, or I got to sell my car, or I got to do something like that. you want to make a plan before you get there.
Amber Coles, how can people get that information on you as well as to watch and listen to your podcast?
So the podcast is streaming everywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, Suit, the letter N, and Screen. My website is Genuine Radiance at genuineradiance.com, JENNUINERAYDIANCE.com.
There you go. Amber Coles. We'll talk to you soon, folks. Thanks. Now take care. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic. It's Mike King here, coming to you from the Branch Museum, here with my good friend Lisa Dance. So if you have never been to the Branch Museum, it is an amazing place here in downtown Richmond. There's something here for everyone. It's been a while since I've been back, but it is truly an honor to be here today. Lisa Dance, on the other end, is our UX expert. And I learned a lot of things from her about processes and user experience. When you come here to the branch, the user experience is amazing. We just had some people walk in like, hey, have a run of the place. You know, this is what we're doing. Have a good time. You can learn something here, but you did make the guests welcome. Lisa, tell us who you are, what you do, and what we're doing here today.
Certainly. So this segment is UX Happens in RBA, and I'm Lisa Dance. I'm a user experience and customer experience strategist at ServiceEase. And on the show, we try to make user experience and customer experience accessible and give tips and insights to make sure that your business or organization has the great customer experience that you would like, because that definitely helps with retention and revenue. We're on location today at the Branch Museum, and we have two great guests. We have Katie Foster and Katie Hoke. And tell us a little bit about yourself and the Branch Museum.
Sure. So I'm Katie Foster. I'm the acting director. And something that makes the Branch Museum a little bit different is that, none of us, I think, have a formal museum background. I'm a hospitality girl, so I also think about museum from user experience. Katie and Kristen Cavallo hail from the marketing world, which I think led to this show. It was a natural progression. And the Branch Museum's a little bit different than other museums as well. We're like Richmond. We keep it a little weird here. We like to think we have the finger on the pulse of things, and we're not mired down by any red tape, which I think we'll talk about a little bit with Nicholas Gallivan's work as well. So yeah, there's something special happening here. Good sense of community and something a little bit avant-garde, I think.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm Katie Hoke. I'm the marketing director here at the museum. And like Katie said, I originally came from an advertising background. And I think what has been so fascinating for me is I've always been a really big lover of history. I originally wanted to be Indiana Jones, wanted to be an archaeologist. And so coming to the Branch feels like I've just arrived at a place I've been walking to for a very long time. And what I love about the Branch is that we are Virginia's only design museum. We are in this gorgeous historical home that is just full of architecture and lots of good design details. But I think what's fun about being a museum design is that design is inherently so accessible. It is all around us, from the phones that we keep in our pocket to the clothes we choose every day to the way that the aisles of the stores that we visit every day are laid out. And so it really means we can bring in some really interesting things, and it just feels immediately inviting, I think, because you walk in and you feel like I understand this. I use this in my everyday life, and I can really connect to it. And I think that's really nice. And I think that's part of the reason this place has had a little bit of a second coming, and people are really starting to take notice and come and visit a bit more.
You have some really cool events here. Being from up north, the South has a history that the North just doesn't. Like you walk in here, it just takes you back in time. And then you look at the architecture here, it's kind of like you're our wow moments. So very quickly, I know we have some things to get to. What's it like when a person comes in, they've never been here before, and you see the wow factor?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I like to joke that we get to work in a castle every day, and plan events and exhibits. And I think that this house was designed to wow. This is actually a holiday home. The Branches were really influential in Richmond. They actually started the public bathhouses, the Federal Reserve, the Cabell Library. the VMFA. Branch was the first president of the VMFA. They started the Richmond Symphony, and even the Easter Parade was a form of protest. They didn't want to pave over Monument Avenue. So there's a lot of rich history, and this is where they would celebrate for the holidays. And when people come in, I think it has the intended effect of celebration and also a little bit of a flex. Like it is a pretty spectacular
Yes, it is.
home.
One of the things when you're riding down Monument, and so I've come in before, but I think I parked on the street, and I've never done that around the building. It looks different. Like when you come into the parking lot and you see the building from that way, it's totally different. And it is truly Americana. Speaking of Americana, that's the segue there. America 250 is where we are celebrating America. So you guys have the celebration here. You guys have it. Tell us about that and how it got here.
Sure, yeah. So the piece that started it all was Nicholas Galinin's totem pole in there. If you haven't seen it, it's a spectacular piece. Nicholas Galinin is a native Alaskan of the Sitka tribe, I believe. And he hand carves these totems and then painstakingly paints on top of them to blend into toile wallpaper, which is, of course, a traditionally English wallpaper. So it's a really powerful piece. It's really beautiful. We knew that we had it here. And in the fall of 2025, he was actually kicked out of the Smithsonian in the wake of the DEI. Everybody was rolling back what they were doing. So I think that we're uniquely positioned. While the world was heading in one direction, we wanted to head in the other. And, that got us thinking about, what the actual experience is in America versus the story that we're telling ourselves. Our creative director, Kristen Cavallo, again, hails from the branch world. So I think that sort of thinking was really natural for her, and thus Americana was born.
Yeah, I think what is interesting about our take on the 250th in particular is so many exhibits that we've seen are really a bit of a history lesson. It's looking back at where we have been. And we wanted to do things differently here. This is inherently about the design. And when you think about America, it is probably the most well-branded place maybe on earth when we look at the stories that we've told about ourselves for the last 250 years. And you see that show up across everything that we do, from our space program to our currency to the Harley tanks on the wall behind us, and this idea of what is the identity we've sent out to the world, but then in reality, where are the gaps, and are we really living up to the identity and the promises that we've made? And I think that it's a really interesting way for a viewer to experience something, because often when you walk into a history exhibit, you may feel a little bit disassociated from it. It's like, oh, well, that happened in a time, I'm not living during that time. But when you come in and you see things that are a part of your everyday life, and you see it as a brand that you actively can participate in, it really puts you more in the driver's seat and helps you have a different perspective about it.
One of the things when Mike King was here at the Branch Museum, when you talked about Kristen, that was a time when everyone is running away from something, and you guys lean into it. That's something different. I've been stationed in Alaska, and I walked by that piece. It took me a moment to realize there was something there, because all I see is, I notice, is the wallpaper. And then I turn around and I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. So you guys at that moment, you guys are looking at the idea of what America was. You guys are looking at, okay, where are the gaps in it? That's nice. The idea of that one is, are we really living up to the idea of what America could be and should be?
Yeah.
And you guys it's documented here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we were very intentional when we looked at what we wanted to put on the wall. And I think something that really sticks out for me is in the gallery behind us, we have the quote that appears on the bottom of the Statue of Liberty, which is in part, "Give me your tired, give me your poor, give me your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." That has been essentially our welcome mat for the last, almost 250 years, and really what's built this nation. But when you look at some of the choices we've made or the people that have been left out, you realize there is a little bit of tension there, and that maybe we haven't fully delivered on what we said.
One of the things that one of good friends, Bill Martin, used to always talk to me about. He was my first guest on my radio show 6 years ago. and he talked to me about what the branch was, and that was what got me started. When you have like a historical person like that talking about historical place, and like you said, you guys are in researchers. I came in 2014, not exactly what had happened before then, but it's kind of like the place you guys are generating a lot of buzz.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we like to think so. I think that it's been a slow progression to this point, but I think in this past year we dropped architecture from our name. We brought in the aperture and became the Branch Museum of Design. We have raised the money to fix the house. We're going through restorative efforts. We are having 5 exhibits a year. I don't think any other museum can boast that kind of turnaround. We're having Guggenheim Fellows exhibiting. So I think it has been in a lot of ways a turnaround story. And we're really lucky to be a part of the momentum.
Okay, really quickly, how can people get information about the Branch Museum?
I'm so happy that you asked.
I'm sure that's what I'm here for. We're going to make you guys even better. We'll give you more hype.
Yeah, so we have our new Viz ID is, which by the way, sorry I'm rambling a bit, but if you look at it on its side, we pulled the DNA from the house and made like the steeped roofs, the B. So if you shift it, it's all about shifting perspectives. It, makes the B, and we have this award-winning new Viz ID. We just opened our new website, thanks to Katie Hoke here. Painstakingly done. And if you go onto that website, you can learn about us. You can sign up for our newsletter, is a great way to get involved. Follow us, subscribe on social media, or pop in. We're happy to give you a behind the scenes tour. And I think everybody here does a really good job of making time for curiosity. We invite that here.
One of the things, so we're going to get to Lisa Dances, our user experience expert. We're going to get to her in just a moment, but I got the mic now. And
go forward.
Exactly. Here we go.
I got to stop in a good conversation.
I got 3 ladies here with notes, and so here I am, just shooting from the head. So you both are not in the traditional sense of, historic, whatever this is called, like museum pieces. So you have marketing and you have advertising and hospitality. Talk about the end. So Katie being tapped to be the leader after someone who's a leader who everyone knows. So what was that like to say, hey, we want you to take the reins now?
Well, flattering. And a bit intimidating. Kristen Cavallo is a giant in our community, and she's like a breath of fresh air. She blows in a whole new energy, and so it can be intimidating in a lot of ways to come in. Those are some high heels to fill, but she's still around in a mentoring capacity, and so my expertise is very specific. So I have a degree in studio art, and then also hospitality management with a business minor. So my expertise is very specific, and then I make creative vision sustainable. So I was a part of the turnaround prior to Kristen's coming, helping make this a sustainable place that could, afford to keep the lights on and could have exhibits. And so in many ways, this is me continuing my trajectory, but with the added benefit of Kristen's mentorship. So it was an easy yes for me to step into that role, knowing that I had her support, and we all get the vision here. Everybody here is, I think in their own way, a rock star, and I'm not alone. I have an amazing team.
There you go. So, are you guys a nonprofit?
We are.
Okay, so I always say change in the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. Money got to change hands somewhere. You guys got a project.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. It's the marketing piece. A lot of that starts with the buzz.
Yes.
They'll start with the buzz. So I see I noticed that there's the new logo. I didn't know exactly what, but it captured my attention. Talk about the marketing piece and how we get from here to all the things you want to get done.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, when Kristen and I came in, we both felt a little bit like fish out of water, because we came from the marketing world. We're stepping into this museum role. It's a nonprofit. We don't really have any money at all. And so we're trying to figure out how to do this. And so, a lot of times I think you do call in favors and you ask people for help. And oftentimes I think if the the challenge and the ask is really interesting. People want to help, or they can see the vision of where you're going. You know, they want to help to make things better. And so we were incredibly fortunate that we were able to partner with this really amazing design studio, Mullen Lowe, that Kristen had worked with in her time at Mullen. And we gave them the brief of, we want to be able to preserve the history of this home. We're going to bring this forward. We're a home for design. How do we bring that to life? And as Katie had mentioned earlier, they had this amazing idea to look at the actual architecture of the building and took the V shape of our roof. And then the right thing was they talked about it was something that made you shift your perspective when you looked at it. And I think it's something that all good design asks us to do. And it's certainly something that this city, Richmond, has done itself. When you look at what people from outside of Richmond might think of us in terms of a role in the Civil War and the former capital of the Confederacy, but then when you come and you actually walk the streets of the city, you realize it's changed so much. This city and her inhabitants have shifted their perspective. And the fact that we are, you know, placed here on Monument Avenue, right where Jefferson Davis was toppled, it just felt like it was so uniquely ownable to us and something we could really live into. We're a home for design, but we're also a place that asks you to shift your perspective. And that got me just so excited because I think that's something that is, you want to galvanize around that idea, you know. And so it has been a really great way to propel us back into this conversation. And going back to, you know, Chris and I feeling like we don't know what we're doing when we realized that really what was in front of us first and foremost was it was a branding challenge. We had changed our name. We needed to reintroduce this place to people who maybe had come like you in 2014, thought the building was beautiful, but didn't know if they had a reason to come back. And so I think giving this fresh point of view was a reason to come back. And then it really just became, okay, if we are about shifting perspectives and design really is so accessible and it's everywhere, like what kinds of things do we want to bring in the building that are interesting for people? So I think so much of marketing sometimes is really just bringing in exhibits that people feel like they can connect to. And Kristen, give her all the credit, when she was interviewing to be the executive director, she pitched the idea of the exhibit we did last summer, which was Ruined and Refined. She wanted to showcase all of these beautiful remade motorcycles down this long hallway here. She was like, the tension of having these modern machines set against the beautiful backdrop of this building is going to be so stunning. And the board completely agreed. You know, so that's the kind of rebelliousness this museum needs. And so I think that was such a breath of fresh air and something you don't expect to see. And so that really kind of set us off on a really interesting course of what kind of things can we bring in? And, you know, we had the amazing opportunity to bring in Christian Siriano, who, you know, many people know from Project Runway. And I think what really worked about Christian and Ashley, who is the painter that we paired him with, Ashley Longshore, both of those artists really have done a great job of connecting with people and really like everyday people, making everyday people feel seen and celebrated just the way that they are. And I think that that has been really their superpower. And I think that we saw that people were really drawn to it and wanted to come see that. You know, the fact that we were able to have something of that caliber that felt like it should have been in New York or LA and it was here at the branch and it was only $10. You know, you spend more at Starbucks getting a scone and a coffee every morning. And here we had this opportunity for people to come see this. But, you know, I think it's been a little bit of, you know, the momentum of changing our vision, bringing in exhibits that are really interesting, but then, you know, hopefully getting people interested that they want to give us money, because a lot of what we've done so far has really been word of mouth or just utilizing our own channels. But I would love to do more. So, yes.
There you go.
Sorry, no, that's it.
Oh, no. That was, sometimes, you know, when you're trying to make something older than new and make it hip, it's kind of like me with Meta Ray-Bans. My glasses, right in the middle, the message comes through and it starts talking. So then, you know, it's like your granddad trying to work with technology. It's not a pretty thing. So, I'm so sorry. So Lisa Dance, we are here. We've seen some of their user experience. You know, we've seen some guests come here. Let's talk about the part where you find interesting that you said to me, Mike, we got to go to the branch.
Well, certainly. Well, no, initially, when I talked with Kristen Cavallo, we were talking about wayfinding because, you know, in the old historic building, you know, how do you navigate in museums? How do you navigate, you know, the exhibits and different things like that? And that's a particular experience. But then you've had so many good exhibits because, like, I visited the Christian Sharano exhibit, the best products exhibit that was afterwards, and then we were talking about the Americana one and examining America as a brand. And that was kind of interesting because the exhibit kind of blurs America as the government and then America as a corporate brand, right? And that was interesting. And I kind of wanted to say, well, how did you all think about that and how to and navigating that distinction between America's the brand as a government or as a corporate brand? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. A lot of stuff to unpack. But in terms of like the actual layout and the flow, so moving this room actually would have been where you would have been introduced to the branch estate if you're coming for a party. And it's very much intuitively the place that people enter first. So starting with the mythology of America. The color behind me is supposed to emulate like the dirt road, which is, you know, we have cowboys, we have NASA, we have Harley Davidson, we have the open road. This is like the dream element of America. And then as you walk around, you walk into what I call like the reckoning room. And the way that that's painted is it's meant to purposely look like it's still being painted because the great experiment that is America is still being authored. So that's where you get pieces that, you know, like beg the question, like who has been excluded or who has been made to be invisible? Like where are these promises not living up to the expectations? And I think that's a beautiful flow through the exhibit. You asked a second part there. Oh, the blurred lines. So for me, I think that you can't really talk about America. Like there's no distinction between corporate and government. You know, a little bit, I guess, off script. This is me as an individual, not necessarily the stance of the branch. But looking at this current administration, he, you know, Trump made $3 billion while being in his second term, which is certainly, you know, an extreme example. But every president usually gets a little bit wealthier to the degree of 1 or 2 million. So, you know, when you think about America and the powers that be, it is both the government and it is both corporations. It's the nature of capitalism. And, you know, I was chatting a little bit before this about how I tend to get stuck in the negative. I tend to think about, you know, the reckoning portion of that. But what's been nice for me about the exhibit is that story cuts both ways. So like you look at denim, for example, which has, you know, was made to be, you know, a durable material. It was used by the Navy. It became, you know, the uniform of the working class. But then brands have taken something that had utility and was more or less, you know, in some ways like civic and governmental, and has taken it and it's infiltrated high fashion, national identity. So there's a lot of joy in that too. And again, I think there's, you know, if you're looking at like what the brand of America is, we are capitalism. We're both government and corporate. And I don't think we're blurring those lines so much as the lines are already blurred.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. And sorry, there's a piece down here that you showed me yesterday where it's different brands and they're like brands that are government and corporate brands and that are all familiar, all in one piece. And so that kind of does like sum it up, at least in that one.
Yes. The piece by Phil Knoll, Consumption, it's all ballpoint pen, and it's this conglomeration of logos that, like you said, it's everything from Hello Kitty to the FBI logo, and you know them in equal measure and instantly recognize what those things stand for. And I think you make some really great points. You look at something like the NASA worm logo, that is a government agency, but that has become a beloved sense of pride and this idea of space travel. And I think you look at like the Artemis space shuttle mission and just like how that felt like such a light, happy moment that we also desperately needed. But then you look at things even like the words written on our currency. And when you really break it down and you look at that, those are, again, those are government issued symbols, but those say something about the place, and what you put or don't put on those says something about us as a country as well. So I think Katie's right. There's really no way to tease those apart because it's such a huge part of our identity and has been from the very beginning. Since the beginning, this has been a radical experience that has taken the world by storm in some ways, and we've done things differently, and it's been interesting to see how that's played out.
And that's a good point, that it's existed. It's not just, it didn't come just from this exhibit. So, and people probably aren't necessarily having thought about that teasing out of it. So this is a good time to think about it. So, Mike has a
Oh, no, I don't have a question.
Okay.
I'm waving to our guests. They're leaving. Take care, fellas. Have a good one.
Thanks for coming.
Come back and see us.
Well, look, Mike, you usually have a question.
I
so.
do, but I got overwhelmed. I'm like, hey guys, see you later. Thanks for. So for folks who don't realize, right before that, a couple guests came in. I'm like, hey, can we interview you? One was an architect. The other dad was an architect. One was from Richmond, and his friend was here. It was just showing the lure and the pull of the place, and just talked about what they were experiencing, why they came to the branch. So they were leaving. I had to say bye. Come on. I was raised by, hey, Benita, you got to be hospitable.
Yeah, there's that hospitality.
So, but the one part about it is, I think a lot of times I've never heard it put like that with this, there's the corporate side and there's the government side. And I've been doing this show now, talking to business people every day. I mean, from top to bottom, whether it is we talk to the governor, we talk to little kids who are entrepreneurs. You never had that part put together that the two really are. And I got to see the exhibit because that's something that we look at. I always say America's an experiment. Look at the Olympics. You see the Australian team, they kind of look, and you see the Chinese team, they kind of look, and England has a little flavor, Canada has, and then here comes America. We're just looking, just coming at it. Look at these guys. Because we have something of everything. I just had a student come in and he talked about the lure of America. It's like, what do you guys think? Back in your home in Africa, what is the question you had? Have you ever met Beyonce? Does money really grow on trees in America? Because that's what the world thinks.
Yeah.
Regardless of this administration right now, people wake up every day saying, I'm going to America. The Americans say, I'll go to that place on vacation. But people come every day. And what you guys have done here is amazing. This is, so Harley Davidson at our house in York, Pennsylvania, they have Harley Week, and Harleys roll into town. So it is an American brand.
Yeah, the open road, like the romance of that is very America.
Yes,
And also Hollywood, Beyonce, all of that. Opportunity is a weird thing to talk about that belongs in both rooms because there is so much opportunity in America, but then there are people who have been excluded from that as well. So, I mean,
but the myth of it is there.
Yeah, the myth of it is there.
To your point about the brown color, it's like, I think that people see that idea of the myth of there's this open road, you can come and be anything here.
Yes.
Whether or not that's actually true, that is easier for some and not very easy for others. But that is the mindset that, like, if I have that opportunity, maybe I can become something. And I think that has been what's been such a strong draw for so many people outside looking in.
One of the things about being in the Army, I've gone to a lot of places, always joke and say, America is like teenagers who have money. That is not a good combination. Young people with money, you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want without the constraints of, maybe I shouldn't do. And I looked at that. Yeah, so. All right, so Lisa, what are we with friction points? I always learn from Lisa about friction points, things that make it easier or harder. When you guys hear from the guest, what's something that stands out that said, when I left there, I had the greatest time?
Yeah, I mean, something that I think is different. There's a lot of 250 exhibits out there, and I think Katie was touching on this. A lot of them are like beautiful retrospectives. Some of them are maybe romanticized or glorified, and some of them are very honest and brave. But to your point, Lisa, we're doing something really different here. We're not talking about America as a history lesson. We're talking about brand identity and personal identity. And so I think that what's different about our exhibit is it kind of breaks the fourth wall. I think the people that come and make their way through it, it starts conversations and it begs the question of like, what do I want to do next? I think, sorry, Mike, my ADHD is getting the best of me and I forgot the original question.
I don't even read. But see, this case, she's the marketing person with the details. Okay, we could.
And so at one point I was a type 2 diabetic. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. My doctor looked at me and said, you will be dead in 10 years if you don't change. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, I'm kind of cute. And I got a couple more things I want to do. And I changed, and the medication changed. And I thought, food is the key. But when I go into my neighborhood, what do I see? I see a sign for alcohol, and that's fine, and cigarettes everywhere, and that's fine. But I don't see the same for fresh fruit and vegetables. So as you go into nicer neighborhoods, I had the ability to work in San Francisco, and you have farmers markets, and you have access to beautiful things I had never heard of or I could pronounce or I could see. And I thought to myself, what would it mean to make that accessible for more people? So long story short, met a man, moved to Virginia, and he said to me, I own 36 acres. What do you own and what will you do? And I said, well, I'll buy that little land over there. And we did. And then within a year, we created with other partners, so we did not do this alone. With other partners, we created a food box, and we gave away 50 a year ago today. We created Brunswick Agriculture a year ago today because we live in Brunswick County. And if I'm not mistaken, 82% of Brunswick County is African American. Yet, if I'm not mistaken, we're the 4th highest in cancer and the 4th lowest school district. So when you work with that, again, I'm a clinical social worker. I cannot deal with problems in the sense that we have no solution. So for us, we said, this is a problem. There is a solution, so what is it? And so we created Brunswick Agriculture, and our motto is do it, move it. I'm not going to sit and talk to you about the problem because we understand what it is. So that is our starting point and meeting point. From there, our goal is to always create manageable outcomes, measurable outcomes. Right? We are not asking for change overnight, but what we are telling you is it is possible, and we will meet you where you are and then move you forward. And if we can't, we will leave you alone and continue. And so what we did was created food accessibility. And over the last year, we have connected chefs from Virginia all over. So Virginia Beach, Hampton area, all the way down to Brunswick County. And we have not said we don't have a food truck. We've put 60,000 miles on our truck to deliver food. When we had an issue with one of our crops, 6,000 plants in the ground. Long story short, we can't access those anymore. That's fine. There are other small farmers all over the community, and we are out every day meeting them, connecting with them, and buying their crops. So again, it doesn't matter what the problem is. We have a solution. And if we reach out, and we've done this with Mike, and Mike has reciprocated, and now we sit in this room. So I say to you and you all, a year ago, we sat in a cabin that was 700 square feet with no running water and no electricity. Not because we couldn't afford more or do more, because we put everything we had into what we believed in. And because of that, we created a space at this table. And it is powerful. It is immensely powerful to understand what we create with each other and together. And so we have touched and agreed, my husband and I, that we would be here at every opportunity to say, how can we help you? How can we create a solution? How can we do it moving? Whatever obstacle may have been there before, whatever conversation you had before, it doesn't matter. We have a manageable outcome for you and a measurable outcome for you, and we will meet you there. So what we have is 50 acres for you to access. That means you can walk, you can run, you can bring your bike, you can pet a goat, a chicken, a turkey, a duck, a rabbit, but not a cow.
Not a cow.
But not a cow. You can come in and talk to someone.
My name is Donald G., formerly of MIKEKINGBIZ and the G Law Firm. For 40 years, I practiced civil litigation in those firms. And now I've created a new platform that I would love to discuss with every business owner in and around the Central Virginia area. That is a tax strategy and a health benefit. And I have a few questions for you. Would you like the benefit of having no co-pays, no deductibles when your employees go to their PCP? Would you like to have no cost for prescriptions on over 600 prescription medications? And at the same time, your employees realize an increase in their net take home. But that's not all of the benefit. The benefit also comes with something for the employer, and that is they will save on their FICA taxes. They will save on their workers' comp taxes for those individuals who are in and around Virginia. They will also have better retention for providing a health benefit to those employees who are trying to reduce their health costs. If so, give me a call. You can reach me at dg@SGH Business Solutions, or you may call me on my cell at 804-922-2045. I will give you free consultations and give you a quote. Thank you.